The EQC Minister is signalling legislative change may be needed to deal with Canterbury homeowners who purchased houses post-quake believing the homes had been fully repaired and in fact being told by EQC documents they had been. Megan Woods says she's spoken to Justice Minister Andrew Little about allocating pre-budget funding so test cases could go to court to fast-track legal clarification on the unsold situation where homeowners have found themselves out of pocket and uninsured. It comes as one of those homeowners warns buyers to stay away from any house that has had a repair managed by the Earthquake Commissioner. Tania Ashton is a solo mum with 2 teenage boys who has recently discovered the home she thought had been properly repaired by EQC in fact needs repairs costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Conan Young and cameraman Richard Tindler visited Tania and 2 other families who found out their biggest asset is in fact their biggest liability.
Tired of living in a small unit with her 2 growing teenage sons, in 2015 Tania Ashton started looking for something bigger.
I put my house on the market in Queen's Park and that night it was sold, and we went around and we were the choice of this one and another house, and this one won because it had a staircase to a 2nd floor.
And that was something the boys
They always wanted a 2-storey house.
A year later, and there was a knock on the door from EQC wanting to check the repairs it had carried out before she bought the home were up to scratch. They weren't, and this family spent 6 weeks living in a motel while their dream home had a 2nd set of repairs done.
It was horrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, the motel was lovely, but living out of a suitcase, you can't take everything, and just, you know, we just shifted in here. We didn't want to have to shift out. So yeah, it was pretty horrible. Cooking on a 2-burner stove top, microwave meals, because you've still got to pay your mortgage when you're not here.
Fast forward another year and yet another inspection by EQC, which discovers that after 2 attempts to fix the home, its contracted builders had failed to re-level the home and substantial repairs would be required on its foundations to stop it leaning dramatically to one side. This sent her over EQC's $100,000 cap, the maximum amount it pays out for earthquake damage.
I was absolutely petrified and in tears because I bought this house, I had insurance, I've been paying my insurance all my life, and now it's gone over cap. But why has it gone over cap? If the repairs had been done properly the first time, it would be fine. But yeah. So they're going to, you know, they got 2 lots of money out of it for dodging it up. I don't know what you'd call it.
For a claimant who owned their home at the time of the earthquakes, going over EQC's cap would mean being handed on to their insurer, which would then settle the balance of the claim. They would either be given a new home, have the necessary repairs carried out, or be given a payout. But for people like Tania, who bought their home off the original claimant, this sort of cover doesn't apply. It's up to her to find the hundreds of thousands of dollars required to get the work done.
I'd like the houses to be fixed to the level they should have been. If there's dodgy workmanship, those people should be held accountable. The people that didn't do the job properly, they should be held accountable because they've taken money out of my pocket and my children's pocket and made our life a living hell.
And what sort of level of oversight do you think there was from Fletcher EQR and from EQC on the repair that they had actually asked to have completed?
I don't even know if any of them were qualified, to tell you the truth. They used standover tactics. They, for example, the patio out there that was paid to be removed and reinstated, it's still there. The tongue and groove flooring that they removed to fix a subfloor was charged, you know, as if they'd put it back. Hasn't been put back.
The impact of living in a quake-damaged home has been huge.
You try not to think about it, but it does get you down. My kids hate this place. Absolutely petrified of this house. But I can't do anything about it. If there's an earthquake, they sleep downstairs with me, and these are grown boys, 13 and 16. They're petrified. It's
moving around quite a bit, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, especially up in the upstairs corner where my eldest son is. And yeah, it does scare you. You always think, is the top going to fall down on the bottom?
Tania has this advice for anybody looking at buying a home in post-earthquake Christchurch.
Get a qualified opinion and investigate something chronic. Just make sure. And actually don't even buy one that's been fixed. Yeah. It's too much. Yeah. You don't want to go down this track. Could be 6 years down the road and you'll find out that there's something wrong. And then you'll have a bill.
Tania Ashton's story is bad enough, but what's becoming increasingly clear in Christchurch is that her case could be just the tip of the iceberg, and that thousands of people could have bought houses since the earthquakes that have had botched repairs or where damage has been missed completely. Debbie Momo and her husband are both in their 50s and purchased their home with an eye to doing it up and selling it as a way to put aside some money for when they retired.
So we knew that when we were buying it, the repairs had never been done and that there was only meant to be $25,000 worth of damage to the house. Cosmetic damage, they said. And that was visible to us, but it didn't really worry me because we've got builder friends and little cracks can be plastered up and, and painted. And we thought, well, EQC had done their job and said it was only facial, cosmetic, so we felt quite safe.
It was only when they began their restorations and lifted the old carpet, noticing a large crack in the concrete floor, that they realised the damage was anything but cosmetic. A proper assessment by a builder revealed their worst fears.
He pretty much, it didn't take him very long at all to work out that this house should have come down. Really, it was pretty bad.
So it went from being $20,000 worth of cosmetic repairs to what?
A write-off, an absolute write-off, and I cried. I didn't really understand what it all meant. I just was so shocked, really. I thought, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? Because we're not 21 anymore. This was our future and this, So, yeah, it was a really hard thing to find out.
An inspection by EQC uncovered what many homeowners in this city have been finding out, that EQC had initially classed the house as a write-off, but subsequently downgraded their assessment and decided there were only minor repairs needed. Just like Tania Ashton, she was sent over the $100,000 cap, but then found her private insurer would not pick up the tab for any of the substantial foundation repairs she was now facing, costing hundreds of thousands more to complete.
I got talking to a lady there called Barbara for quite a while. We'd have a few phone calls every couple of weeks and she'd say things to me like, oh, I'm working for you, I hate the situation that you're in, I'm doing everything I can for you. And one day she phoned and she said, would it be okay if I came to visit you with one of my colleagues? And I said, sure. So the three of us sat at this table and they basically just said that they felt really sad for the situation that I was in, but in no way was it anything to do with EQC. No sorry or anything for the fact that they got it wrong. Nothing. Just that without being able to find the insurer at the time and following up a claim, we were stuck and this would be it for us. So again, that day they left, I had another cry thinking this cannot be the case.
For Mike Stewart, Julia McIntyre and Julia's two children, Sean and Andrea, the damage that was missed by EQC didn't become apparent until they attempted to sell their home.
Well, they asked for the scope of works, which we didn't have. So we went to EQC quickly to try and get a scope of works, and when we got it, they did their engineer's report with the scope of works and went, well, the ring foundation hasn't been replaced. Clearly, it hadn't been replaced. And then when we started looking further, you could see more and more things weren't done.
The sale fell through, and this family began a 2-year-long battle to get EQC to fix what it should have fixed before they bought their home. The only problem was they had already bought their new home, trusting that the old one, that they had spent $50,000 on in renovations, would easily sell. They now owned 2 homes and were in a lot of debt.
We're interest only now, trying to not sell this house. We'll see how that goes.
Julia is keen to hang on to their new house, especially now her children have settled into their new school.
We know the kids of Christchurch have had enough of a shake-up with the quakes and all the different changes going on, and yeah, they need that reliability of a good school and stability of a house to live in, and that's what I really want to give them.
And so you're really just trying to hang on in here as long as you can?
Oh, we certainly are, yeah, so I can't quite see how it's going to happen now.
Julia wants to see EQC own the problem of failed repairs instead of sending people like her over cap and into the limbo land faced by this new category of homeowner, the on-solds.
What we really need is for some judgment to be made and for them to front up and deal with all the houses that may have these issues.
So you don't think you guys are an unusual case?
Definitely not. I think that this is largely still a hidden problem, and a lot of people won't want to watch the news about it or read the papers about it, and maybe deep down they have a feeling that they should get their house checked, and I say 100% please get your house checked.
All of those spoken to for this piece are part of a group court action being worked on that would see EQC sued for failing to fulfil its obligations. Just how many more people are in the same situation as them has yet to be seen. In Ototahi for Checkpoint, ko Conan Young Tene.